Office. So I'm going to give you some information. Understand that this investigation is ongoing, so I'll release to you what I can at this point. So about 1:30 this morning, deputies were dispatched to 7850 134th Street North in Seminole, which is right down the street here, for a woman who had been shot. So the victim, whose name I'm not going to release, was shot multiple times. She was transported to the hospital, and by all accounts, she's going to survive. But she was shot numerous times. So through the course of the investigation, what we learned is the victim was shot by a family member. And it was believed that a family member was still in the house. So between 1:30 this morning and now, we activated the SWAT team and we went through our process, and it's a kind of a laborious process for safety reasons that we go through. And ultimately, we were able to gain access to the house, and we did find a male inside with a single gunshot wound to the head. We do believe it's our suspect. However, he's not been positively identified, so I'm not going to release his name either. Understand this is an ongoing investigation, and like everything else, things are subject to change. But I'll tell you this, that our Public Information Office, once we confirm the identities and we were able to release the identity of the victim, we'll put that out to you later on in a media release. So that's kind of it now. At this point, I'll take any questions if y'all have any.
In the hours that you guys have been here, was there a public safety concern during your investigation?
No, by all accounts and through investigative means that we had, we believed our suspect was in the house, by all accounts from the information we have, so absolutely not. I'm sorry. How many times? Probably about 11 times. I know it seems like a lot, but understand that some of those may be a through and through shot, so you may have 2 holes for 1 gunshot. Most of them were torso and a couple to the head.
Do you
Yes.
know the family relations between the 2 people involved in this investigation?
I do. They are family related.
Siblings, mother?
I'm not going to give you that.
Self-inflicted gunshot wound?
It appears to be a self-inflicted. He was the only person in the house, but yes.
You guys don't know how long he had been in there with that gunshot.
We do not know. So when patrol set up on the house, again, we got the call about a little after 1:30 in the morning. She had actually, I didn't tell you this part, I'm sorry. She actually was able to walk out of the house, believe it or not, being shot that many times, and went across the street to a neighbor's house. And that neighbor called us. And she was transported to the hospital from that neighbor's house. So in that time, patrol set up around our house where the crime occurred. They didn't hear any additional gunshots. So we don't know when. That doesn't mean it didn't happen later on. It doesn't mean it happened right after she walked out to go to the neighbors. We just don't know when that happened.
Why exactly did it went through the reason it took so long for you guys to get in the house?
To be safe. So we did have information that inside the house were rifles and pistols. And we just don't what we call go tactical on the house. That is, just send a SWAT team in. It's just not the safest way to go. We do a slow and methodical, sneak and peek, get all the information we can get. With our negotiator team, we try to establish contact for several hours, because the safest way is to get somebody in the house, out of the house, without sending the SWAT team in. So.
Can you give us a rundown of all of the resources that were included in this investigation? I understand the bomb squad from HCSO made their way over here.
No, so we canceled Hillsborough. It wasn't the bomb squad. That actually, they have a different robot than we have. So we had called them for that additional asset. We never did use it, because by the time they were still on the way, we were able to get in the house. We did send our robot in, and our robot is the one that found the suspect. So they were canceled. Also with that, so clearly the SWAT team, the negotiators, they kind of take the lion's share of the work. And now the homicide investigators will do their job. So.
Was this person that we're not identifying the man with the 1 self-inflicted gunshot wound, did he have a record of any sort?
So, yes, but very minimal. By all accounts, this was just a domestic-related situation. So the person's record goes all the way back to 1976 in Joliet, Illinois. And that was like a larceny charge, a misdemeanor larceny. And then there was one other felony domestic by strangulation with this victim in 2016. But beyond that, that's it. So by all accounts, this is it's sad. It's a sad situation, but this is a victim, a domestic violence related crime.
So it had only been the victim and the suspected shooter inside the house. There was nobody.
Correct. That's just those two, yes.
Was the victim in any position to tell you how how this all started? Was there an argument? Was she sleeping? Was she, what transpired?
There is more to the story. Understand that somebody who's been shot multiple times, it's really hard to get information. There is more to the story. I'm just not comfortable releasing that to you right now. But yes, there was an argument prior to this happening, yes.
Is she critical
Best guess, we're told she's going to survive. So.
With this being an hours-long investigation closing down a portion of a main roadway, is there a reason why media requests went unanswered for so long today?
I don't know anything about that. It's something we can talk about offline, but I don't know about what that's all about.
Last question for you. To somebody who doesn't know anything about how your operations work, how would you simply explain from start to finish what you guys go through to finish things?
Sure. So from the initial call where the woman is shot, and believe it or not, she was talking as much as she could at the time. She's at the neighbor's residence. She's transported to the hospital. She identifies the house where she came from. Tells us that there's another individual inside who is armed, and again with both pistols and long rifles. Definitely concerning for law enforcement, especially the long rifles, because you can shoot a long way with those. From that, it's just set up. We bring in armored vehicles. What we call hail the house. We use the intercom. We challenge the house, if you will, try to get the person to come out. That went on for quite some time. So I'll tell you the time between the call, which was at 1:30, and SWAT was activated, was about 5:30. So all that time in between, they were doing every effort they could to get who was ever in the house out safely. And once they kind of hit a wall, then they called me, and SWAT was initiated. So that answer your question?
For people living here, how long will you be out here? How long will you be?
So we're getting ready to open the road up. 134th Street is right over here. It runs north off of Park Boulevard. Probably as soon as I walk away here, they're going to open up the road. And for everyone else, commuters and whatnot, it'll be, quote, business as usual.
And the church will be able to go back?
I'm sorry?
Will the church be open then as well? Or?
Yeah, so we did have contact with the church early on, and they were very cooperative and understanding. Today's Sunday, and they have masses today. They canceled all their masses.
So you guys don't know at what point the suspected shooter inflicted the gunshot wound to the head?
It was all done at the same time.
Oh.
Again, she was shot. She went outside, went to a neighbor's house, and they called us immediately. So it was right then.
But you don't know when exactly he shot himself, though?
No, we don't know. See, that's what you asked me. No, we don't know when that happened.
Okay.
Did any of you guys hear a gunshot after
No,
she was shot?
nobody heard the gunshot. It doesn't mean it didn't happen later. We just didn't hear it. Anything else?
I think one last question for you. You said 11 different times. Where are those different gunshots?
So most of them are to her body, center mass, if you will, to her body. I think she has a couple in her leg, somewhere in her thigh, and 2 to the head.
But 11 times.
It's amazing. You think of somebody who's been shot that many times that is still able to walk out of her house, walk across the street to the neighbor, and tell them what happened. Yeah,
Especially in the home. Wow.
pretty amazing. But
Thank you.
all right, guys, appreciate you.
So
Yeah.